What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Right Side. Today, I want to talk directly to Republicans and conservatives as a right-wing Zoomer. But before we get into the video, subscribe or ring the bell if you want to support and help the channel grow. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. With that out of the way, let's get into it. For those who may not have figured it out yet, I am a member of Gen Z, a Zoomer. And as a member of this generation, I feel like I have a unique insight into how my generation will land or settle in the political spectrum. In fact, by polling data, Gen Z has some of the highest rates of right-wing identification among young men in generations. But this doesn't surprise me, since my generation is experiencing a perfect mix of certain influences and factors that would make a generation of young men more right-wing. One example is that Gen Z broadly are the children of Gen X, who were the counter to the boomers. And I think that Gen Z will act as a counter to the millennials, so historically this really shouldn't be that shocking. Outside of that, the progressive wing of the left is so repulsive to young men. How many times have we heard about toxic masculinity? Or how many times have we heard about our privilege? How many times have we been chastised about our race if we are white? How many times have we seen the left co-opt things associated with masculinity and label them as far right? Anything that young men do, they are called far right white nationalists. And the dating market is flooded with young women who are historically super far left. So that leads Gen Z to be at least right of center. But I don't even think that's true. I believe that young men in my generation are going to be very conservative right wing. And it's for the same reasons that so many on the left are so far left. See, we are at a point in the historical cycle where the excess of prosperity has peaked and we are starting to decline. Rent's too high, houses are unaffordable, college is a scam, and military is woke. The typical avenues that young men go down to establish themselves in a society are toxic and not worth it anymore. This societal decay is a perfect condition for radicalism. Young men who can't find a way to establish themselves in a society will lash out at those who they perceive to be holding them back or holding them down. And right now, and historically, it's been the establishment elite at the top who are out of touch with the conditions of reality and society. These young men view the solution as a hard reversion to being family focused and decentralizing the government. So these factors tell me that Gen Z are going to be not only right wing, but rather conservative. So now, to my fellow Republicans and conservatives, here is my message. For the love of God, stand for something that isn't inherently critical of the left. What do I mean? One of the most popular forms of content produced by the right is making fun of the left or criticizing the left. Listen, I don't blame us because I do it too. But being anti-left doesn't make us better. The left has been successful in being popular with the youth because it gives them causes to fight for. See, the left doesn't market itself as anti-family per se, but it gives young people something to fight for and a sense of meaning in supporting women's rights. The left doesn't market itself as being particularly anti-self-employment, but gives young people a sense of meaning and purpose in supporting workers' rights. And the left doesn't market itself as being anti-success per se, but offers young people a meaning and sense of purpose in supporting DEI. All the right does is sell itself as anti-men and women's sports, or anti-electric mandates, or anti-legal immigration. All right, cool. So they know what we don't like, but what are we giving them to fight for? We should be the party of faith, family, and federalism. We should be emphasizing the importance of family, encouraging marriage, and incentivizing having kids within wedlock. We should be emphasizing the importance of religious institutions, encouraging charity and promoting conservative morals and values. We should be stressing the importance of state and local government, encouraging civics, and enabling local power. Look, you can't debate someone if your argument is insert left-wing policy here is bad. You just can't. Sure, you may be correct, but what is your better alternative? The right lacks this alternative. When liberals argue saying, well, what do you want them to do if they can't X or Y? In a way, they are right. The right is terrified of suggesting, for example, a reversion to religious functions or connections. But many of the social issues we are facing could be handled at a local level with local communities and churches. How do we bring the family back? Be honest about gender roles, bring back classes like home economics, and destigmatize homeschooling. Help young people believe that marriage and having children is possible and viable. What about state and local governments? Return federal programs like education and healthcare to their rightful place in state custody. Decentralize the federal government so that smaller towns and municipalities have greater political power, thus incentivizing young people to engage with local government and strengthen their community's bond. Right now, everything that young people associate with politics happens at the federal level. This affects multiple things. For one, focusing on federal politics tends to increase the size of the federal government, as the place you go to solve political problems tends to naturally grow in order to facilitate those wishes. Another side effect is that focusing on federal politics allows people to sidestep the voters in their own state, as their state is only one of 50. What this does is it takes a sense of control away from the person, as they have very little real influence on the decisions or persuasions of other states, thus giving them anxiety. This also allows them to avoid having to talk with their neighbors and local communities about these issues, preventing the development of social cohesion and a sense of belonging. The right has always been about self-reliance and strong localities. It is about taking care of yourself and finding a meaning or purpose to use your talents and strengths to contribute to those around you. It fosters duty and honor that leads to charity and volunteerism. It respects the natural order and creates social structures that incentivize the good of human nature and punish the bad. It enables individuals to participate together and be part of something larger than themselves. It encourages family formation and values human life. It promotes law and order to enact justice and preserve order. It instills faith in a higher power to establish the unwritten rules of social engagement and interaction. These values have been the bedrock of healthy and flourishing human civilizations for centuries. Listen, Republicans and conservatives, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's the left's entire ideology. We must be unafraid of fighting for what we know is correct, but the left makes sound taboo and radical. We can't allow them to co-opt language so easily. We must defend every truth, especially the ones that the left conditions society to hate. Conservatives have rolled over in submission to the left's ruthless imperial march for decades. The damage done to our social and cultural fabric is horrific, terrifying, and a tragedy. But we don't have to be an ideology or party dedicated to slowing this decay. We are allowed to fight back and stand for what we used to. Just because the other side has won for a long time doesn't mean we have to conform to their new rules of social engagement. I really hate to burst your bubble here, but we aren't going to win without upsetting a few liberals. God knows the left hasn't cared about upsetting conservatives in their process of winning, so what's playing by their rules have gotten us? And I hear you. As a young conservative myself who has dealt with self-censorship and consciously complying with leftist initiatives in the interests of going along to get along so that my current and future entanglements aren't destroyed, I understand that we are facing an uphill battle. Still, our struggles are not new historically, as conservatives have had to defend against leftism throughout all of history. This strong opposition is, without a doubt, menacing and daunting. But we should feel infinitely and eternally comforted by our righteousness. We know that we are right and they are wrong, and there has never been a more noble cause to fight for than the truth. We need to stop obeying by their rules of social engagement, find the spine we put somewhere in the closet back in the 70s, and be prepared to upset our blue-haired cousin. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button. And if you'd like to support and help the channel grow, please subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with all my uploads. Finally, whether you agree or disagree, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, as I always look forward to engaging with you guys in respectful and thoughtful discussions. With that said, I'll see you guys next video. See ya.